Islam, Islam, Islam. I rise giving praise to Allah, honor to all of his twin divine prophets. I give honor to his last twin divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, for all of the wonderful works he has brought unto us. Islam. I trust to read from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7. Trust to read from chapter 34. Holy instruction from the Prophet, sincerity. O thou, who art enamored with the beauty of truth, and hast fixed thy heart on the simplicity of her charms, hold fast thy fidelity unto her, and forsake her not. The constancy of thy virtue shall crown thee with honor. The tongue of the sincere is rooted in heart. Hypocrisy and deceit have no place in his words. He blusheth at falsehood, and is founded, but in speaking the truth he hath a steady eye. He supporteth as a man the dignity of his character. To the arts of hypocrisy he scorneth to stoop. He is consistent with himself. He is never embarrassed. He hath courage enough for truth, but to lie he is afraid. He is far above the meanness of dissimulation. The words of his mouth are the thoughts of his heart. Yet with prudence and caution he openeth his lips. He studieth what is right, and speaketh with discretion. He adviseth with friendship. He reproveth with freedom. And whatsoever he promiseth shall surely be performed. But the heart of the hypocrite is hid in his breast. He maketh his words in the semblance of truth, while the business of his life is only to deceive. He laugheth in sorrow. He weepeth in joy. And the words of his mouth have no interpretation. He worketh in the dark as a mole, and fancieth he is safe. But he blundereth into light, and is betrayed and exposed with dirt on his head. He passeth his days in perpetual constraint. His tongue and heart are forever at variance. He laboreth for the character of a righteous man, and huggeth himself in the thoughts of his cunning. O fool, fool, the pain which thou hast taken to hide what thou art are more than would make thee what thou would seem. And the children of wisdom shall mock at thy cunning, when in the midst of security thy disguise is stripped off, and the finger of derision shall point thee to scorn. Praise Allah. I praise Allah for being in the Friday Holy Meeting. I praise Allah for all of the Moors that are here tonight, and for the Moors who wanted to be here tonight but could not. I praise Allah for my faith and my strength in Islam. And as always, I praise and I thank Allah for him sending us the Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in due time. Now I praise Allah for this chapter, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Sincerity. You know, in the first 8 verses of this chapter, it talks about the sincere man. It talks about the one whose heart is fixed in that which is right. It talks about the one who established principles of action for thyself and is ever act accordingly to those principles. You know, but after verse 8, we get down to verse 9 on through 14, which is what I want to focus on tonight. The verses that talk about the hypocrite. See, because in the Moorish Science Temple of America, in the Moorish Divine Natioinal Movement, we have a bunch of hypocrites among us. We have a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys. We have those who sat at the feet and was taught by the Prophet, or taught by those whom the Prophet taught, and now that the Prophet is no longer with us in the flesh, they want to have us believe that they have figured out a way better than the way that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali had taught us. But those of us who know, those of us who follow the teachings and the guidance of our Prophet, and his guidance came from Allah, we know better. So therefore, we can't be fooled by those who follow John Gibbons Hill. We can't be fooled by those who follow Timothy Dingle Hill and R. Dingle Hill and R. German Bey and the greatest of the traitors, Charles Kirkman, aka C. Kirkman Bey.
Islam.
So we don't get caught in the trap. And the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America in the chapter on sincerity teaches us on how not to get caught in the trap. It teaches us the difference between the ones who are sincere and have a sincere heart and the ones who are hypocrites and traitors to the Moorish Science of America, to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Now let's find out something about the hypocrite. It says, but the heart of the hypocrite is hid in his breast. He maketh his words in the semblance of the truth, while his business is only to deceive. Now how many Moors do we got running around talking about things other than what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali has taught us? How many of them is it? All the ones that I just named. All the ones who got off of the path that the Prophet had put them on and are now doing something else. We got Moorish Science Tip of America Inc., which the Prophet Noble Drew Ali never established. What happened to the Moorish Guide newspaper? What happened to the tea company, the oils, the incense, the paper company? What happened to all of that? But y'all following the Prophet. We don't know who you following, but you're not following Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Because your heart, just like the heart of the hypocrite, is hid in your breast. You say words in the semblance of the truth that sound good to the ear. Like the apples that it tells us in chapter 3 that the apple is pleasant to the smell. It looks good. It said, but its core is full of bitterness and gall, the same as your words. Because your words are not the words of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Your words are your own words. Words that you came up with on your own, and then to get people to follow you. You try to say that you have some great interpretation of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali has brought, when you don't. Because the business of your life, as it says here about the hypocrite, is only to deceive. He laugheth in sorrow, he weepeth in joy, and the words of his mouth have no interpretation. He worketh in the dark as a mole, and fancies is safe. But he blundereth into light, and is betrayed and exposed with dirt on his head. This is the reason why the Supreme Grand Sheik, Prince Khasadiya, has been getting a lot of backlash. Because those of you who are following other than the path and the teachings that the Prophet gave us, and the path that he put us on, thought you were safe. You worked in the dark, just like this chapter says, as a mole. And you thought that you were safe. You thought nobody would say anything. You thought nobody would approach you. You thought nobody would combat the foolishness that come out your mouth in the name of our beloved Prophet. But that day is over. But when the light is blended into, when all the works that are being put out by our Timber Group and the Supreme Grand Sheik have come out, when we speak, when we give you the real teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, your head has been blended into the light, and you are betrayed and exposed because you have nothing to bear witness to the foolishness that you're talking about. And the dirt is sitting on top of your head. Now praise Allah, because this corresponds to a chapter in the Holy Quran of Mecca. Chapter number 4, verse 81. And they say obedience, but when they go out from thy presence, a party of them plan by night, doing otherwise than what thou sayest. And Allah writes down their plan by night. So turn aside from them and trust in Allah. And Allah is sufficient as having charge of their affairs. It's right here in the Holy Quran of Mecca. So we see that there's nothing new under the sun. We see the same devils and traitors that was back with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, are back here again, thinking about the trick that they're going to do on the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us. He says there are those who are trying to tear down and drag out the true foundation that was laid by our Prophet. Now I got people sending me messages on the internet talking about some Timothy Dingle hyphenated Noble Drew Ali. In 1978, he had some divine revelation or some type of great wisdom that the, and I quote, first and second generation Moors didn't have. But our Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us that the truth doesn't change or pass away. So whatever he taught the first and the second generation Moors is still true and holds true for today. That's the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Can't nobody come behind him and have some so-called great wisdom that's different than what he said. Who better to teach you about what is in the record and the lessons of the Prophet?